Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Musa Gaming here, and today I want to talk to you about Pincer formation, which is the latest formation that Rise of Kingdoms has actually released. And from the looks of it, it looks like they have released something that they shouldn't have released, which is a very overpowered formation and special inscriptions. Now, to give you a little bit of context, I actually want to talk to you about my history and my view and how it has changed from the past on Pincer. As you can see on the screen, I already posted 2 videos about Pincer. One of them basically saying don't spend on Pincer because from the looks of it, Delta was unable to outscale Pincer, and for very good reasons, because 50% of the damage that you deal on Smite damage commander or a combo damage commander is really dealt with basic attack and counterattack damage. And with that said, Arch, which will give you bonus to both whatever combo or smite damage that you're supposed to deal, basic attack and combo attack damage buff that the Pincer formation and Delta formation is missing by only buffing smite damage and combo damage is very hard to beat. And in fact, I actually did the math, and you need about 39.5% of smite damage you need on top of the 10% that you get from the base formation. Now, with that said, I actually posted another video 3 days ago saying Pincer's delayed, and my speculation in that video was that they're actually changing the numbers on Pincer to actually make it better than Arch. Because why are they releasing Pincer if they are not going to make money off of it by having people switch over to Pincer? Right? It doesn't make sense. And with that said, today, the rollout of Pincer did happen, and I took a look at their special inscriptions that they added, and it looks disgusting and really sickening level of power that they actually given to this formation when they actually compare it to other formations, to be really honest with you. But let's just jump right into it. So the very first inscription, Toppler, it will give you 5% bonus to smite damage, and whenever their troop deals smite damage, the target takes 20% increased smite damage for the next 3 seconds. This effect can trigger multiple times in a single second, which means that even if you do it in AoE, all of them could actually take 20% extra smite damage. And I don't think this means that, like, if you do multiple smite damage in a single second, it would actually, stack that 20% increased damage, because if it does, Rise of Kingdoms usually say something about stacking. And it has a cooldown of 5 seconds. Wow. Okay, so first things first. The fact that they put this on a scroll really shows that Lilith wants you to use Pincer over Arch. And the reason for that is because Arch's first slot, the scroll inscription, is destruction, and no one wants to use this destructive because of the fact that it has a little bit of a drawback of you spending 100 rage to increase the basic attack damage of whatever you're dealing by 70%, which is going to be a net negative for the for your damage output. Is basically what the sentiment is. But this right here gives you 5% that boost to smite damage, which is nice, which is whatever. But the rest of his kit almost is so OP that this is almost equivalent of having another skill of a commander, of a smite damage commander. So this is overpowered. And yeah, just compare it to Delta. It's just crazy. First of all, it does a lot more boost than Delta. It does 5% instead of 3.5%. That is a world of a difference. And then whenever this troop launches in combo attack, it has 1.5% bonus to combo damage dealt for 10 seconds. Okay, well, here's the thing. Like, this takes so long of a time for it to actually stack. It may not even stack up to 5 times. And at the end, it only gives you 7.5% bonus to combo attack damage bump. Whereas you get 20% from this one. It is crazy. And it's really disappointing to see how much power that they have given to this formation, to be really honest with you. Because even if you compare it to like Butterfly Effect, which is everyone thought was like the greatest thing of all times, but if you look at Demolisher, which is the second inscription that is going to be on the instrument, it would change your mind. So Demolisher, you get 5% boost to smite damage. Amazing. Whenever their troop deals smite damage, it has 75% chance to ignore the target's defense by 50%. This effect can trigger multiple times in a single second before entering a cooldown, and if it is only triggered once, the wielder troop gains 100 extra rage. So, a little bit of description here. First of all, this is crazy. 75% to ignore 50% of the target's defense is crazy. It's unheard of. And again, this is another skill on a commander, to be really frank with you. And on top of that, if it only triggers once, which means that if you were using Liu Che or Bai Chu, and you trigger this by accident without actually waiting for you using active skill, which could very much happen very often. Like Liu Che has 25% chance for you to actually auto attack and trigger that 300 damage vector smite, and Bai Chu has that malice effect that will actually be able to trigger smite damage for whatever. So if you trigger in those occasions, you're gonna get 100 extra rage, which is crazy. Which means that instead of having the Liu Che expertise, which will actually do a combo attack and then give you 100 extra rage, all your smite damage that you do 300 here and there will actually act like a combo damage because it will generate extra rage worth a single basic attack. And if you're lucky enough to trigger this during your active skill turn, then 50% of the target's defense ignores is just absurd and crazy. So this is a little bit of a lottery, but then again, it is still crazy. But again, let's just move on. Airtight. The wielder's troop gains 5% combo attack damage resistance. Okay, can't complain. It's not bad. It's not great. Let's move on. But whenever this troop deals smite damage, their troop takes 10% less damage for the next 3 seconds. So whenever you activate smite damage, you're going to take 10% less damage. And you have cooldown of 5 seconds only. So this doesn't have a trigger chance. And for commanders like Liu Che, commanders like Bai Chu, who will always do smite damage almost every other turn, the uptime on this is going to be crazy. So this is almost as good as almost having, in my opinion, basically 3 seconds, basically like 5% less damage total taken. So this is, I think, really, really crazy skill. But yeah, that's not it. Let's move on. Oh, it gives you 10% boost to smite damage though. Oh, great. What did Delta get? 8%. Lilith, you really had to sell on this Pincer formation, didn't you? So much that you actually are going to break the game, huh? But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the spreadsheet and take a look at what everything basically means, right? All right, I'm back at the spreadsheet that I actually presented to you on the very first video that I posted about Pincer, and here's basically what I can find. So as you can see, arch damage buff that you can actually get, the total that you get from just base formation, destruction, straight to the point, invincible and fearless. I'm basically taking out all the rest of the kits because it gets complicated to calculate all that. It gives you about 26% of buff. And then Pincer formation, in total, is going to only give you about 30%. Now, I know that Pincer's formation's damage buff is only 30%, which is not good enough, in my opinion. If you actually just buff like 30% of this 52.49%, the damage is not going to be enough. And in fact, I did already say that you needed 49.5% of smite damage needed from Pincer formation and inscriptions together. And the fact that it's providing you 30% is already kind of meh, right? So you need 19% of smite damage, basically compensated from rest of the skill set in comparison to basically the arch formation. But wait a minute. A lot of people are not going to use destruction. Okay, let's just go ahead and get rid of that 3.5%. Boom, you only need 42%, 42.8% of the smite damage needed from Pincer. And because Pincer's first scroll special inscription is so good, everyone's going to get it. And do I think that rest of the Pincer formations special inscriptions will actually be better than having 12.8% of smite damage buff in comparison to Arch? Yeah, I think it does. I think it does provide you that 12.8% marginal difference in smite damage. Wow. Wow. I think Lilith took this all a step further than it needed to be really honest with you. Like, again, the first inscription is basically another skill on a commander, like a very good skill on the commander. Second skill, same thing. Third skill is not on that level, but it's still better, in my opinion, than invincible, or even comparable. It's fine because first two special inscriptions are just too crazy, in my opinion. Too crazily better than Arch, that is. But I do want to take a moment to actually warn you that unless you're a mega Kraken whale, I'll wait until you actually get the Pincer formation, because everyone thought that combo delta formation was going to be better than Arch. It turned out it was not the case, right? The whole butterfly effect thing and being able to trigger that, a lot of people thought that that would actually break the game. It didn't. And all this skill, again, I did give you a fair warning that a lot of this can trigger with Liu Che and Bai Chu's like active the smite damage that it does 300 every other turn, basically, right? So if those actually trigger on those turn, where you get the 20% normal smite damage for the next 3 seconds, I think this actually is going to trigger almost no matter what, because it has 3 seconds window that you can actually do this. But this skill right here, most likely is just gonna act as if you have another setup Liu Che expertise skill instead. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment down below if you guys want to discuss about this Pincer formation as well as their special inscriptions. Please join my Discord and then we can talk about it there. I think a lot of our members in the Discord already is talking about it, so very interesting conversations. So yeah, just let me know. And yeah, well, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.